So we'll be seeing Novac in Fallout Season 2 if the leaks are anything to go by. So this was shared by Fallout Films on Twitter, or X if you really want to call it that, and essentially he was sent some pictures that was taken by someone going by Baker on their way to Vegas, and essentially they saw sets being set up. This is a kind of abandoned motel area. I'll be showing them on screen as well, so you can see them here as well. And also was the fact that, most specifically, you can see this kind of broken sign, which also I'm showing here, and if this looks similar to anyone, especially to Fallout New Vegas players, this looks very, very similar to the broken Novac sign. So for those who don't know, just a little bit of context, the Novac sign is essentially a no vacancy sign for a motel that was slightly damaged, as it is throughout the war and just throughout the age, and has been broken to just simply have the letters Novac, which isn't the first time we've kind of seen Fallout towns use this sort of method of naming their towns. However, moving forward and kind of talking about why this is important, as in why do we care necessarily that they're having Novac? We already knew they're going to Vegas if the end of season 1 was going to say anything, since we saw the shot of New Vegas itself. Now, why is this important? Well, firstly, they've only just begun filming, and we see the location of one of the kind of the bits going up to New Vegas, which means we can assume that, yes, we'll be seeing several locations on the way there. They're not just jumping straight to Vegas, and it's also not just an afterthought, so we know they'll be heading up that way. So Lucy and the Ghoul, who will be heading up and likely following Hank's trail, we can only assume they'll be stopping for different towns on the way, so we might see Nipton perhaps. Perhaps we'll see some kind of something around Cottonwood Cove, and I'll kind of talk about why that's important in a second. But also the fact that we see Novac means we get some understanding of the route they're taking to go up there. So we understand now they'll probably be heading from the bottom of New Vegas' map, heading upwards. So it gives us some idea of that sort of direction they were taking, perhaps the route they'll be going down. And unfortunately, it does seem like they'll be avoiding Quarry Junction. So lucky them, but also unfortunately for us, I really want to see some deathful action going on there. Now, I said about Cottonwood Cove, and obviously I'll jump back to Novac in a minute, but Cottonwood Cove is interesting, where after I made the post on Instagram regarding this, someone pointed out that they have some friends in the Vegas area, and they've seen filming going on around Camp Searchlight and around Cottonwood Cove. So this actually builds up and kind of reaffirms the idea we'll be seeing exploration going on from kind of the bottom of the map upwards, and not only that, but Camp Searchlight being explored and Cottonwood Cove suggests we'll be getting also some explanation about what happened to the NCR and the Legion after kind of the events of New Vegas, but also at the point of the TV show, which is a good several years after the event of not only New Vegas, but also Fallout 4, so things could have drastically changed. Which might also explain this kind of weird Fallout New Vegas dust looking world we seem to see at kind of the end credits of Fallout Season 1. Now back to Novac. Novac is a particularly interesting area for several reasons. One, it's got a funny name. It's a funny name. I just like the fact it's called Novac just because letters fell off the sign. But also, we'll see Dinky, the dinosaur. Now, best that's just been out there. If there's no Dinky, the dinosaur souvenirs, I'll be very upset. I'm just putting out there now. I fully expect for the TV show, if it shows Dinky, I expect to see souvenirs and I expect to be able to buy one. I'm putting it out there. And if anyone disagrees with me, you're not a Fallout fan, and honestly, just unsubscribe. I'm not dealing with this. Although I do want to do a disclaimer that Dinky the dinosaur is not actually in kind of where Novac is set in real life. It's actually set in a completely different area. Tellsnake's Fool, who is kind of way more versed in kind of the geography of different things in real life, and has also done a video on this topic, will be able to explain a little bit more in her video, which I'll link in the caption. However, long story short, the dinosaur is not near where the thermometer is in real life, which is... I was actually heartbroken. I realised that. I was really hoping when I went to Vegas to be able to see it, so to find that out was really upsetting. Now, furthermore, what's also important about Novac? So Novac also is nearby the Repcon site, which the Repcon site is very interesting because it has the ghouls, or the Bright Brotherhood as they're known as. Now, at the point of New Vegas ending, we can assume that the ending that kind of happened was the one that we kind of is kind of the main quest, Come Fly With Me. And at the end of that quest, we help the Bright Brotherhood shoot off their rockets and fly away and escape. And in some of the endings, they come back to assist Novac in the evacuation when kind of the aftermath of the Battle of Hoover Dam commences. Now, if that doesn't happen or something's stuck around, that could be a very interesting kind of side plot to the show, in which we find out what happens to Brother Brotherhood, where they went, and just simply getting some more explanation about kind of their story, or even maybe they came back and we can find out more about them. Furthermore, there's a lot more interesting stuff about that, and Novac itself also contains some other interesting characters, such as Nobark, who some people theorize to be kind of the chosen one, who's kind of in his latter age, whether he's actually survived or not. There's also some Nightkin in the area, so especially from Repcon, so potentially if they've not completely left the area, it's possible but we might have a Nightkin appearance. So there's a lot going on in Novac, and I think a lot of reason to kind of be hopeful that there'll be kind of a lot of interesting things going on. But obviously the most important one, which I've left until last, is Boone. So Boone at this point, it's not clear exactly what his ending was because he's one of the kind of the many threads that can kind of occur or kind of go down his route and follow New Vegas. So potentially he's still around Novac, still crying about his dead wife, or potentially he's actually gone on his adventures and he's not there anymore. Maybe Manny's there instead. Long story short, hopefully we'll see a sniper in Dinky's mouth. And long story short, I hope Lucy, when she's going by, doesn't stick on a random beret because that would make for a very short season 2. Now, what is going on with Lucy and the Ghoul? That's probably something I also want to touch on. If they are going kind of south to north towards Vegas, what's going on with them? So last we saw it in the end of season 1, Lucy and the Ghoul seems to be following Hank and going towards where Heavy was going. It seems like the Ghoul Cooper seems to fully know where Hank is going, and likely there'll be hot on his trail. Now, I will put it out there that if anyone sees kind of Ella Purnell, Walter Goggins, or any of the kind of the crew in the area, do let me know, because that will confirm all these suspicions. And especially if you see them at any other locations, if you see Power Armor, see literally anything, do let me know, or literally let anyone know, just so I can find it in some way, because obviously that should confirm everything, and it'd be very interesting to know as well what direction kind of they're heading. So yeah, if anyone sees any filming going on in Vegas or the surrounding Mojave area, do let me know. So my personal theory is, as I said, they'll be heading kind of south to north, heading towards Vegas. They'll touch in areas like Nipton, Cottonwood Cove, Camp Searchlight, and Novac, and then will likely make their way to Vegas itself. Obviously, it looked like quite a state at the end of season 1, so I'm really hoping it doesn't look as bad as it seemed at the end in the end credits, but obviously we can only find that out. So following my rambling, I just want to kind of put it to you, the viewers, who've been watching this first long form video done in a long time, and ask the question, what other settlements would you like to see explored? What do you think is important of Novac being explored? And finally, what do you think's in store for season 2? Do you think kind of we'll be seeing kind of a showdown between Hank, Mr. House, Cooper, Lucy, and the kind of crew? Or do we think we'll be seeing potentially just kind of Hank rock up and realize it's a more of a kind of a desolate wasteland than we expected, and it is more of like a fallout dust situation where the tunnel has took over, the cloud has come and just gassed everyone? What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments below.